What is going on, everybody, man? King Recon here. Welcome to day number 4 of the Santa Recon series, man. And today we're going to be talking about a series that I'm so glad that I gave a second chance, man, because it is a series that truly proved me wrong and is another testament to the message I always try to give on this channel, which is to give things that you didn't initially enjoy a shot in the future, man, because it just might not be your time. You might not be the right age, you might not be in the right mindset, but give it that second chance because it truly could end up being something special. And that is exactly how I feel about Attack on Titan, man. That Isayama greatness. I have no idea how this year would have been for me from a manga standpoint had I not gotten into the greatness, bro. This year, in Attack on Titan, oh, man! Dude, my favorite chapter in the series came out this year, in chapter 122. But, I mean, and there's no question. When I read that chapter, I was like, yo, this series is top tier. And this series is out of this world. And it had already been building up to that moment because there's been several incredible chapters before then, and the chapters before that, like 121, 120, 119, they were all marvelous. But 122 pushed it over the top. I was like, dog, no, this is too good. This is way too good. I felt like I was experiencing a modern day masterpiece happening before me. That is how amazing these chapters have been, and the arc that we're currently in, man. I mean, Isayama, great. But anyways, I wasn't always this way. And when I started off with Attack on Titan, especially on the old channel, I used to dog on it a lot, man. I really did not like this series. And I think it was, of course, like I said, due to just the time frame and I guess how it was at the time, but it just wasn't the right time for me, man. I remember when I first got into the series, back when I first initially created the old channel, and I was watching it weekly, as much as I adored the soundtracks, and oh my, do I enjoy the Attack on Titan soundtracks, man. As much as I enjoyed the soundtracks and as pretty and incredibly, and how incredible it looked visually, the story and the characters really didn't grip me during season 1, and that was all I had to go off of for a very, very long time because I didn't want to give the manga a shot. And so for quite some time, and even just until just recently, I really, 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 really did not like season 1, man. There was just something about that season that just kept me away. Where I was like, man, I understand why people like it. I understand why it's a thing people enjoy, but it just wasn't hitting me the same. And then came season 2 all those years later, man. And this is why I say that, to me, I think it was due to right place, right time, possibly because I got older, whatever circumstances came around. But when season 2 dropped, I really, really, really enjoyed it, man. I loved the character relationships that sprouted out of that. I love the mysteries that were being built in that saga. But number one, above all of that, man, I absolutely adored what Isayama was doing with the characters in that entire, in season 2. I absolutely adored the Ymir stuff. I mean, yo, it was so good each and every single week. I was like, bruh, is this the same Attack on Titan? And it was. I was ignorant to the fact back then. You know what I'm saying? Especially looking back on it now in hindsight, where all of the stuff that we know now, God, I look back at season 1, I sometimes go back and read those chapters, and I'm like, dog, this man is a genius. Like, yo, he was foreshadowing and building up all that stuff all the way back when. Yo, when you learn the truth, and you go back and re-experience the series, this is one of the best series to go back and re-experience once you learn the truth. It's one of those series. But, man, dude, like, season 2 really changed it all for me. And then came season 3, man. And I kept being told, yo, season 3 is going to be the worst season. Season 3 is going to be the worst season until they get to a certain next point. It's the most boring arc, da-da-da-da-da. The moment that I saw my man Erwin, I knew I was going to love this arc. Erwin, I think still to this day, is still my favorite character in this series. I just love what he represents. I loved his ideology. I love his dream. And I love how determined he was as an individual. And one more thing, going back to the end of season 2. I absolutely adored the direction in which they were going with the whole, with the way that the world was being built around them. Not only that, but the way that I felt like I truly felt Aaron's importance coming into fruition in season 2. But anyways, going into season 3, I absolutely love that first half of that arc. I mean, the second half is, of course, but the first half, there was, I guess it's due to more of the focus once again on the characters and their individual motives and why it is that they decided to do certain things, and I'm learning more about the mysteries of the verse that really made it extremely intriguing to me because it just brought up so many more questions. But when season 3 ended, I was going to stay anime only. I really, really was. I told myself I'm going to stay anime only until season 3 ends. But part 1 ended very, very earlier than anticipated. So they had to split, right before they got into Shiganshina. In that split, at the end right there, whenever we had that after credit scene where it showed Levi and Mikasa and Eren, the moment that I watched that, I watched it again after I watched it because I was so spooked. I wanted to make sure that what I was actually watching, I was catching. So when I watched it again, I was so spooked that I said, I'm reading the manga tonight when I get home. And that's exactly what I did. I came back home and I had a magnificent, marvelous catch-up experience that I was so blown away by the content of the Return to Shiganshina arc and the Marley saga, where I was like, yo, this series is out of this world. This series is out of this world, man. I will never forget the first time that I turned the page when we got to the basement stuff, and I saw the picture. Yo, that picture, when I first saw it, gave me legit goosebumps, man. It's one of those panels that once you first see, you never forget how you felt when you first saw it. That panel, and in the Shiganshina arc, whenever you have that situation where they had to choose between Erwin and Armin in order to save one of the two, that was one of the most intense and well built up moments I think I have ever experienced, bro. Like, you just get so into the moment because it's unpredictable. You have no idea what's gonna go. On one hand, Armin's a part of the main squad of characters, but Erwin was built up the entirety of season 3 to see this dream coming into fruition, to see the basement. You have this entire flashback based around Erwin and how he grew, and this is why I relate to him so much, growing up as that conspiracy kid, coming up with all these conspiracies on certain things, on how the world isn't telling me exactly what I want to know, so I want to go out and learn it myself. And his ambition, man. And I was like, yo, I wanted to see Erwin succeed. And I was like, yeah. So I understood Levi so much during that entire sequence. And not only that, before that, he had one of the most epic moments in the entire series, dog. And you're like, flagnards, man. And then whenever that's presented, who is going to be saved? Who is going to get that fluid? And like that entire thing went down, and of course we know what happened after that, but just the build up and the lead up to that moment, that entire situation. In the anime, they pulled it off splendidly, because I remember rewatching that moment in the anime and I felt the same amount of chills and intensity and immersion that I did whenever I read the manga chapter. And when I read the manga chapter, I was sweating. That chapter was absolutely insane, man. But the way that it was built up in terms of chapter structure, on how they built it up to the basement, to where at the end of the chapter, they open the basement door, they start going down, and then you flash forward to the future, and you're like, yo, what in the Flying Fighters did they learn? And in the final 3 pages of the chapter is the picture. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Yo, this is a photograph, bro. I'm telling you, I'll never forget when I first read those words, bro. I had chills running up and down. But that flashback changed everything for me, man, because I was already becoming a really big fan of the series with the content produced in Season 2, in the first half of Season 3, and in the second half of Season 3, of course, with the Shiganshina stuff, which I read in the manga first. And I was really becoming a huge fan. I was loving what was being presented. I was losing my mind. I was like, oh, this is a classic right before my eyes. When I reached the basement is when the series to me became truly something special, because it opened up the entire world of the series, man. And the mysteries, dog. I mean, getting answers to certain things that we had always wanted to know, and then adding on more questions on top of those answers. And then within the arc itself, or within the flashback itself, there was such a wonderful story being told. behind the scenes as well. So it wasn't just getting all of these like info dumps of what the series is. The way that it was structured as well was really, really well done, with Grisha and whatnot, and Diane, and getting to learn more about Zeke, and just the way that all that stuff went down was so fascinating to me. And it really made me appreciate the concept of the Titans, because I first came to this realization that I really like the concept when we first saw the Beast Titan, and in season 2, whenever they started introducing more and more types of the Titans and whatnot, and whenever we saw Reiner, Reiner's my boy, Reiner and Bertholdt transform and whatnot, it really made me appreciate just what exactly we're dealing with here, and the type of Titans that there possibly could be out in the world, and why it is that those Titans exist and whatnot. But in the flashback, I truly came to appreciate why it is that they exist, because we saw from the perspective over there on their side. And whenever you see how they're actually made, and how like the Titans came to exist, which is I think why I love chapter 122 so much, because it adds even more of that to what we learned in that flashback. But I just remember being so, it's just one of those realizations to where like, man, dude, I should have known all along. Like, it's one of those mysteries that is right in front of your face, and when you find out the answer, you were like, dog, it was right there. It was right there all along. And then when the flashback ends, and you have those very ominous words of like, whenever he's like, oh, Armin and Mikasa and whatnot, you're like, yo, what are the flying fighters he's talking about? And then we get that answer just recently, but like, yo, what are the flying fighters talking about? I was so spooked, dude. And it made me want to go out and search up some theories on forums, bro. That's how crazy that experience was. Like, yo, why did this man say Armin and Mikasa, dog? Just some time travel stuff going on here. And then right after that, you know, of course, we go into the Marley arc. And the Marley saga took the series on a completely other level than it already was, man. I mean, yo, the Marley arc, bro. Oh, my goodness, man. I mean, before the arc started, we had that incredible scene, which was done really, really well in the anime, whenever Eren talks about that he wants to go across the sea and go over there to the place where he saw in the memories. And when you actually get to see the story of how it is, of like Reiner's story and Bertholdt's story and Ari's story, and you're just like, bro, Annie, Bertholdt, and Reiner went through it, man. And when you see everything that led up to the initial invasion, it puts the entire series into perspective for you. And it really made me appreciate those characters. I mean, it truly, truly did. I was like, man, because those were already the characters that I really enjoyed seeing their progression through as the series went on, and I was really interested in them, especially Reiner. Reiner to me has always been such a fascinating character, but especially there, I was like, man, this dude is really well written. But when you actually get to present time Marley again, and you see what's actually taking place, bro, I'll never, oh my, this is another one of those moments. I'll never forget whenever we got to see, oh man, dude. Bro, when I saw Eren rocking that, I remember because the kid came up with the mail, and I'm like, yo, who is he giving that mail to? And when I saw it, I was like, wait. I was like, wait. Hold on. And then we had what was my favorite chapter in the series. I think it was one of those. I think it was, might have been 100, 99, 98. It was the main chapter with the conversation between Reiner and Eren right before the transformation. He goes out and he invades himself. But bro, that conversation had me at the edge of my seat. And those chapters all in succession were absolutely incredible. But that chapter had me sweating, son. I was losing it. I was like, yo, what is going down? Initial invasion goes down. It goes crazy. We go into the process into what is currently going down. Certain very, very important characters die. And we're like, brother, what is going on here? And I really appreciate the time and effort that Isayama took into creating and developing these characters and their relationships that continue to grow and be more important as it goes on, and really leads into some of the themes that he really wants to implore within the series. I always appreciate whenever authors do that with their characters, but Isayama did a really good job of like putting the fruits really early on and having it come into fruition way later on down the line. And then we get to the current arc, man. I don't know. Yo, this stuff right here. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I did not think that he could surpass that incredible Marley and Shiganshina back to back. Like Return to Shiganshina with the flashback, and then Marley to me was just. I was like, yo, there's no way he's gonna surpass this. But something inside me, whenever we saw Eren pop out the jacket in that one panel, I think it was the end of like chapter, what was it, 113, 114, whatever it was. When I saw him pop it out, and I was like, oh god, here we go. And the whole Zeke plot started coming, I was like, wait. I feel greatness incoming. And then we got this marvelous year that we've had so far in Attack on Titan. It's about to end next month. And without getting into too many details, this year in Attack on Titan has been some of the most marvelous monthly experiences that I recall having out of a monthly manga that I follow. Mainly because the wait is so long that whenever you hear spoilers are out for Attack on Titan, you're like, let's go, chapter's about to drop. And when the chapter comes out for me, when it comes to Attack on Titan, I now treat it in the same way that I treat like a Berserk or a JoJo. What I mean by that is, when Berserk and JoJo come out, it's JoJolion now, I take my time reading those chapters, man, because they come out so rarely. So I take my time reading Berserk and JoJo whenever they actually drop. Like, I go in there and inspecting panels, go back and do another reread. I've always enjoyed doing that, especially Berserk. But I started doing that with Attack on Titan, man. And it is so much fun with the way that Isayama puts in so many little things that you can look into, especially in this arc, and you see certain instances where you can look back earlier on in the series and be like, he was hinting towards it here. He was hinting towards it here. He was hinting towards it here. And I feel like you're really seeing his genius sprout out in full fruition in this arc, especially in the last couple chapters. I mean, from the moment that you enter inside of the... what is it called? Inside the paths? Oh, God. Ever since we've entered the paths, I feel like Attack on Titan to me has entered another tier. It's been out of this world, bro. Especially the chapters with him and Zeke going through them, man. And then seeing everything actually with their own two eyes. Especially Zeke, dog. Like, we know the connection and how much his father truly unintentionally ruined how his life would go on from there on out, right? And having Eren right next to Zeke as they go through this was really quite something. I didn't expect to ever see something like that in the series, but the fact that we got it made me really appreciate the fact that we did actually get it. Because it just offers like a fourth dimensional view on the stuff that actually took place. Because whenever you see it, whenever you read it as a reader, it's different than whenever you see it through the character's eyes and they're seeing it with their eyes within this series. So it's providing that other dimension that really makes you put things into perspective and be like, man, that was messed up. Or Flagnards, like it really puts it into perspective like, dog, this real deal might have ruined one of these person's lives. And whenever you see it in that sense, it really makes a lot of that stuff, the value of those moments really shoot up, And that chapter had me in absolute awe, but no chapter in the series. I don't have a top 25 favorite chapters of all time. I'd have to think about that list, but somewhere on that list, I think I'd have to put chapter 122 of Attack on Titan. It's just, it gave me this, it gave me like my favorite things in the entire series up until that point that I would think of. From an emotional standpoint, like the Ymir stuff hit home so hard, man. In season 2, like that stuff was real deal hitting. I loved the whole what Isayama has been doing with Aaron's character and how his character arc has progressed. Aaron is very, very special, man. I did not like Aaron at all. I actually used to say that he was top 5 worst MCs that I think I had ever seen. Aaron right now is my second favorite character in the series behind Erwin. Second favorite because his character arc has been so marvelous. It has been so incredible, dude. I mean, Isayama shut me up and he made me a tard, bro. I mean, he really did, son. Absolutely incredible character arc that we're currently seeing Aaron go through, and it's one that just, as you see it progress, it feels natural, and that's what I like so much about it. Like, it feels natural. It's like, yeah, this should be happening. But going back to Aaron for a second, the point I was trying to get to, characters. I really like what Isayama's been doing with his characters for quite some time. And then the third thing is the mysteries. And the mysteries in the backstory of the series and the way that he's been able to reveal that to us as the story's progressed. Which is why, as you can see, a lot of my favorite stuff is the recent stuff. Because a lot of the recent stuff has had that. Like the Marley arc gave us a combination of everything I just said. Same thing with Shiganshina. But in chapter 122, we got everything I loved about those two arcs in one chapter. One chapter. When I saw the truth, when you realize the true origins, and you see the story of Ymir, and then after that, you see what Eren does to you. Yo, that emotion starts coming out, dog. You're like, Eren is a goat. You see the tears, bro, because to every single other individual in that moment, in that series, they wouldn't have known what Eren did. They would not have known what Eren did. Zeke was stressing. But Eren was like, nah, dog, I'm going to stop her. I'm going to give her a hug. And I was like, oh, God. I was like, bro, this is too much, man. Like, dog, that chapter made me want to make a YouTube video. That is how much I love. I don't know why I didn't. I'm going to assume, because I know I was going to make a video on that chapter. I remember it. I remember writing down notes for it. I probably still have the notes for it on paper somewhere. I think just in the back of my mind, I was like, man, if I do one for this, I have a feeling I'm gonna have to be consistent with this. So I'd probably just put it off. But I really wanted to make a video on that chapter because I just found it so marvelous and genius. It's still in my top 3 favorite chapters of the year so far. Without question. I adore chapter 122 of Attack on Titan, man. I have gone back and reread it several times since then. And it still hits home. And I cannot wait. When that moment gets animated, oh my god. Dude, and I know that another studio is supposedly going to be doing season 4. I don't care. I just want to hear the music. I want to hear the music and how they're going to handle that scene. Because it was just so amazing, man. And then, of course, the current developments that are going down right now. And I cannot wait. I think a new chapter should be dropping soon because it's the beginning of the month. But Attack on Titan has just been so marvelous for so long. And I'm so glad that I gave the series a second chance because I easily could have been one of those individuals that I put it off forever and never got into it again. But because I chose to give it a second chance and because I realized, man, it might not have been my time when I first got into it, but now it is, dog. Now I'm really enjoying it. Now I'm so glad I got into it because I got the incredible weekly experience of Season 2, of Season 3, the binging experience of Return to Shiganshina and Marley arc, and now the weekly experience of the current arc. And I'm like, man, what a marvelous journey. What an incredible learning experience for me as someone who wishes to delve within this craft of, man, dude, as long as I stay on course with what I want to do, and I stay on course with my initial goal and an ending in mind, I can craft something that even if people don't like in the beginning, they might see certain fruits and enjoyment in the things that will come later on that will make them appreciate those things they didn't enjoy. And that's what Isayama really taught me. And I know that his original ending, or at least the original plan for Attack on Titan was changed due to the popularity of the series. But by God, I'm glad he did because, man, the recent stuff has been amazing. It's really hard to find a series that gets better as time goes on. And Attack on Titan literally only gets better. if there was like an arrow thing saying greater than, to me it's current arc, Marley, Shiganshina, and then it continues on from there. And it's all the way season 2, season 1. I haven't read the manga much for season 1, season 2, so I don't know the names of those arcs directly, but you catch my drifts. But and then, man, just the title of that chapter, bro, like, 2,000, man, 2,000 years, right? And then you were back to the first chapter, and amazing stuff, man. I mean, Isayama's a G. He truly proved me wrong, and I'm so glad that he did. He truly did break my ankles and make me a fan, man. And I'm so glad I was able to experience something like this, because it'll just give me more opportunities to give more other things a second chance. Because I'm like, man, if I would have given up on Attack on Titan, I wouldn't have experienced these amazing arcs and this incredible experience that I'm currently going through. So I'm so glad that I decided to give it a shot, and it's definitely been one of my favorite things from this decade for sure. And I guarantee if I would have told my 2013, 2014 self that, they would have thought I was crazy. Like, yo, are you insane? Are you doing this for the views? Are you doing this for the subs? Like, what are you doing, my guy? You liking Attack on Titan? It's the way it worked. It's the way it worked, man. Season 2 came out, and from then on, it's just been a wonderful uprising for my love in the series, and I'm so glad that I said I'd give it a second chance, man. But that'll be it for me, man, in this week's video. I really, really hope that anybody who watches was in an anime only, because I want everybody to go into that as blind as possible, man. Season 4 is going to be so marvelous, dude. It's going to be so incredible, and I cannot wait to see all that stuff dropping. And it's going to be so much fun, bro. But aside from that, man, I can't wait for the next chapter in the installment of Attack on Titan Awesome Sauce, seeing where Isayama's going to take this. I can only imagine bigger and greater things, because it just continues to get better. And it's incredible that I say that, but we truly are seeing a modern-day masterpiece developing before our very eyes. And I'm so glad that these characters have become immersive and rich and full of life and full of their own journey. It truly feels like the characters themselves are the ones carrying this series now, and I really, really enjoy that, and I like that. I like the way that it's written, the way it's executed to make us feel that way, man. But everybody has an awesome sauce of a day. Take care. Once again, chapter 122, one of the best chapters of 2019. Top 3, 100%. And it's been going ham for quite some time, man. This series has been going ham. I only caught up at I think it was the end of last year, if I'm not mistaken. Whenever season 3 part 1 ended, I only caught up then. So I haven't been with the series for a long time in terms of the manga. But ever since I caught up, it's been nonstop fire. So that's testament right there, man. But everybody has an awesome of a day. Take care. Attack on Titan greatness. Let me know your experiences and your thoughts and your opinions on the series in the comment section down below, and I will see y'all next time, man. Have an awesome day. Attack on Titan greatness.